Tonight, Music Maniacs and Dr. Brown and Prince Idol pay tribute to the spaceman, the space ace, the greatest guitarist who Frehley. Ladies and gentlemen, Music Maniacs welcomes you. This was supposed to be a Ladies and gentlemen. The greatest. Definitely top three best guitar players to ever play, not on a technical side, but like play the Les Paul when you think of the iconic instrument. You know, Slash, Jimmy Page. Yes, and then goddamn Frehley.
Jeff Beck as well, before he switched to a Strat.
Well, no, I'm talking about people, Brown, that's always. I mean, think about people that's
yes.
Yeah, only Les Pauls, man. But what did this was supposed to be a Seattle show, and we were all excited for it and everything.
But we did not. That was before we found out what happened later on in the evening. We got word that first Ace Frehley was on life support due to a brain bleed that he suffered after falling in his home studio, and then later on they got the official word Ace Frehley passed away at age 74. And right now, to this day, after his death was announced, people are still paying tribute. Everybody from fellow musicians to Kiss diehards, fans, other people who knew him best. Eddie Trunk did his tribute to him without any question. He was a big Kiss fan. Of course, members of Skid Row are paying tribute as well, especially their former frontman, Sebastian Bach.
Yes.
Well, TMZ is kind of reporting not 100% true what's going on. Your background or your background noise going on.
Not me.
There was two incidences, and this is all from Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk signed Ace to his first solo record deal back in the 80s, later 80s. He was the first one. So, and he's been friends with them very close for like over 40 years. So this all the information came from Eddie Trunk. And I already looked at TMZ today, and they misrepresented what's really happening. So he fell twice. He fell once at his studio 3 weeks back or so, and then they announced Ace is canceling a few dates, and then next thing you notice, they said they're canceling the rest of the tour for the year, which it's not like 30, 40 date tours. He does these fly-ins, but he, travels across the United States and stuff, gets around. But Eddie Trunk was saying that he felt another time at his home, and he has stairs, so he fell down the stairs.
Yeah, Prince, you got to talk louder, dude. Adjust your microphone. Prince Idol is with us, folks.
And
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
A little bit. A little bit there, but you're far away.
And then I can adjust his mic settings. So he fell twice, but the second time was like he fell, knocked his head, and like pretty much was like unconscious until they had to pull the plug on the machines he was on. You get what I'm saying, guys? So like he hit his head, which anyone can do. anyone could fall downstairs and hit their head. It wasn't like Ace was drunk or drugs or whatever. Like it was a complete accident, guys. That's what is really sad about it.
I
But you
know.
talk about, because we did this and stuff when Eddie Van Halen died. We did the show and everything. But this is there's been many celebrity deaths, musicians' deaths between them. Obviously, Ozzy, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes.
man, Ace as a guitar player, as the icon, and all these people are icons, but just on the level of like, your Dimebag Darrells, a lot of these '80s people, '90s guys, and whatever worship Ace. It was all about Ace Frehley, Ace Frehley, Ace Frehley. Tell me about Brown. When did you hear the news? How'd you hear the news? And then, like this. What's sad is they were supposed to do this thing with Trump, at the Kennedy honors in
Las
December,
Vegas.
Brown.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
But Brown, what do you think about this?
Well, it's sad because Kiss, as you know, was unique. They were special. They were influential in many aspects, in terms of writing songs, picking up instruments, and how to perform a stage show. I mean, you got to remember they had a lot of pyrotechnics. They had a lot of things like, say, the costumes, the makeup. Let's also not forget the rising drum kit, the Ace's smoking guitar, which I saw how that was done. That was also iconic as well. I mean, Ace continued that throughout his career, with or without Kiss. And I was it's a shock because, Kiss, many had legions of fans all around the world next to the Deadheads. And this is like a big blow to them because many kids who respected Kiss would later, as I mentioned, pick up instruments themselves. I mean, like, when you think about it, around 1977 and 1978, before he got into the disco and the cheesy pop stuff there with Dynasty, Unmasked, and later that record,
There's
Music
still
from
some
the
good stuff on
Elder.
Dynasty. Brian, there's just still some good stuff on Dynasty, though.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people dismiss it. I know, I admit,
No,
sure know something is a good one, as well as I Was Made for Loving You, but not a hardcore Kiss diehards were like, is Kiss trying to sound disco? But then again, who was it at that time? The Stones did, Rod Stewart did, so a lot of people are trying to cash in on that. Even Elton John at one point. But Kiss, you know what? All the Kiss fans out there are mourning his death because, yeah, this was something unexpected. I myself did not know that he had these tumbles in his studio, let alone be in the hospital on life support at one point. I was not aware of this. Like, I know he canceled the remaining dates of his tour because of health issues. I thought it was something like say back problems or leg issues or something with his right or left arms. But it's like, this is a big blow. This is an absolute big blow because, like, Kiss, as I mentioned, was a big influence. Ace Frehley helped influence Dimebag Darrell Abbott from Pantera. They have influenced many members of Skid Row, including their guitar players and singer Sebastian Bach. I mean, he influenced a lot of
yeah.
groups out there.
So Alan, real quick, since you mentioned that, that's who they had. They had Snake Sabo. They had a couple guys from Anthrax. Banani.
Yep,
They
Charlie
had
Benetti.
Tom Morello.
Yep.
So like Eddie Trunk went live a couple times this past week, and like that's who called in. Like all those guys, Morello. I mean, all these big guys. So, and then Trunk's gonna have Slash on. I mean, all these guys. Listen, if you like put down on a piece of paper like what guitarists, like who inspired the guitarists of our generations, of the '80s generations, the '90s generations, like people would throw down Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen. They'll throw down who would you? I mean, goddamn list, 1,000%. I mean, he might be in like Hendrix inspired a lot of people, but like I don't know, dude, like in they all inspire these musicians in different ways. Like obviously Eddie, like instrument itself, right? Like just with D and all that going into that. But like Ace with the tone, the string bending, with what y'all heard and everything.
Yes.
I mean, bro, this is a huge, and people were saying it. Dave Ellefson, others were like, this is just up there with Eddie Van Halen dying. Ace Frehley dying is up there with, this is, people look
Ozzy
at Kiss
Osbourne.
like, yeah, Ozzy and everything, but as a guitar player, like as it inspired someone to pick up the instrument, like who or what, like inspired you to want to play like the guitar instrument itself?
Oh, the Beatles. Looking at John Lennon's Rickenbacker guitar in the magazine that my mom got me ages ago, the way he held it, the way the Rickenbacker looked was most definitely one of the big inspirations. Also, looking at Paul Stanley's guitar. Looking at Paul Stanley's guitar, in a booklet that came with the Alive 2 album, which my sister had, which, by the way, I did sneak into her room and borrow a couple times to learn about the songs myself. And this is a big blow because, as I mentioned, Ace influenced a lot of guitar players in the hair metal generation, including Skid Row, Pantera, when they was hair metal for that brief period of time. Many bands like Crimson Glory, bands like so many to count. It's hard to pick because so many people were influenced by Kiss a lot. Now, in terms of other guitar players that influenced me, also Hendrix, Van Halen, Robert Fripp from King Crimson, Frank Zappa's guitar playing was phenomenally good. You also got to include, Richie Blackmore as well. A lot of guitar players influenced me, as Tony Iommi included as well. But, it's like when you think about it, Kiss told the world how to put on a damn good show, even if you're not a technical player. I mean, like, for
Prince,
example.
what is your... Prince, is that you in the chat?
Let me see there.
Yes, sir, it is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I see.
All right, Prince, what is your... Let's have Prince... Prince, you sound good. Prince, what is your... how did you... I mean, what is your opinion? I mean, I know, Prince, you're a big Kiss guy.
I'm wearing the shirt.
Too.
That's all I can say. I'm wearing
Yeah, let me get you on here. Let's see.
Turn your volume up, Prince, a little bit more. I see it. Yep. Loud and clear. I loud you, but you need to be more louder, like Wires level right now at this moment. We see you, man. Same shirt you showed me that's Friday night. World Tour 77 in support of Love Gun, which came out that year, the year after Destroyer. In fact, they even showed Prince Idol.
Show the Ace picture on there. Show the Ace figure or character. Yeah, there it goes, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Brown, when did you find out about Kiss and like all that stuff? Like back in the day, since you're
well, actually was members. I heard about the group a few times. I heard about the group a few times in the past, but it was the Paul Lynde Halloween special that when I really heard Kiss's music. One of the songs they did was King of the Nighttime World. I think Detroit Rock City was the other. I got to look back and see for Shizzle. And I was intrigued. I was intrigued by the songs that they performed, the makeup and everything else. About a year and a half later, my sister would get Alive 2. And that's when I mentioned I listened to the album a little bit there, listening to songs like the two I've just mentioned, including Making Love, Love Gone, and Tomorrow and Tonight, Beth, Shout It Out Loud. And that's that's how I got into some of the music. There, also keep in mind that one of our neighbors had Destroyer on cassette form. I borrowed that and I listened to it pretty well. It's like, wow, this is one damn kick-ass produced album for Shizzle.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yeah, a lot way loud, dude.
Yeah, we can hear
Now,
you.
for me, as I told Brown, not to cut you off, Brown, I got into Kiss by going to a public library and reading Paul Stanley, the lead singer. I fell in love with Paul Stanley, aka Star Child, which is one of my favorites of Kiss band. I don't get it wrong. I
Yes.
love Gene. I love Ace Frehley. I love the drummer, the cat guy. I like him too.
Peter
But
Chris.
Peter Chris, you really put
Peter
Paul
Chris,
Stanley's
yeah.
your favorite?
Yes, Paul Stanley's my favorite. Star Child's my favorite. Mr. Lead singer here. That's my
Yeah.
guy. That's my guy. At one point for Halloween of I want to say 2015, I actually did the whole Kiss face paint. I was shaking my ass and everything. I thought it was Paul Stanley, man. I've been down that road. I mean,
Yeah,
who
look
hasn't?
how-
Who hasn't?
I mean, who hasn't dressed up like Kiss at some Halloween party or some Halloween contest at one point?
Right.
Think about it there.
Well, shoot, if y'all are going to any Halloween parties next week coming up, there you go. Get the
Yes, I am.
really paint
Yes,
set.
I
And,
am.
get the.
I actually
You got to
am.
go
I'm
ahead and do
going out.
it.
And I think,
Did you?
spoiler alert to Errol
Go ahead.
Brown and spoiler alert to YR, I'm going out with that chick.
Good, nice.
Really?
All right there.
And she
Now-
can't stop. You know Earl.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, we got to dig into her once
she a
again.
fan of-
Probably
is
later
she
on in the show.
Is she a fan of Kiss?
No, she's a fan actually of. She told me, what is it? What's his name? Jeff from
Who?
Metallica.
Jeff Bagwell? No.
Jeff from Metallica.
Metallica?
Yeah. What's his name? The
Kirk
guitar player.
Hammett.
No,
Yeah,
the guitar
which one?
player.
Which well, there's two. You mean James?
Yeah, James Hetfield.
James
Yeah,
Hetfield?
exactly. Singer,
Papa Het.
we're the guitarist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she loves Metallica. She loves James Hetfield.
Well,
And she loves Motley Crue. So that's what we have in common. She likes Vince Neil. I love Vince Neil. I love Vince.
mhm. Right
Vince will always be one of my favorite, even though, he's kind of big and he's, But Vince back in the day, man. Vince is awesome.
I know. Yeah, he was. In fact, look at the footages of Motley Crue when they were doing their Vegas residency. You see how Vince was slowly moving around, singing his vocals, or tried to, I should say. But going back to some of the records I had from Kiss and cassettes, I also had Animalize from Kiss, Lick It Up for a while as well. Creatures of the Night, the one that featured songwriting from Vinnie Vincent. But he didn't play on that record. Kiss had a
Wait,
reputation
Brown, what
for
was the
having.
first? What was the first record you bought from Kiss?
Well, actually, the first product I got from Kiss was actually Destroyer on cassette from the neighbor. He asked
Okay.
for $5 for it, and that's when I got it. Listened to it, boom, boom. Listened to production of that album. Later on, my sister gave me a copy of her copy of Alive 2, and then I started listening from right then and there. Also went to a nearby used record store, got me the first Alive, the one that really broke up big. Listened to that as well. And I also listened to a couple albums without the makeup, like Hot in the Shade, Animalize, as I mentioned, as Corcel, Lick It Up. And and this is around, of course, when Kiss decided to remove the makeup and become a regular band, because around that time it was starting to become a joke. So that's when they decided, let's take off the makeup, reinvent ourselves, which they did successfully by doing so. It was like the last ditch of remaining in the public eye, because before that, Kiss was seen as a has-been, a joke, same old, same old, same old. I mean, like, the last tour they did with the makeup was a complete disaster. They were playing these half-empty venues at one point. Now, speaking of that period of time, the lead guitarist for Kiss during that tour, of course, was not Ace Frehley, but Vinnie Vincent, the Ankh Warrior. He would go on to remain with Kiss through the next record, Lick It Up. Then, guess he got booted from the band because of some attitude issue that he had. He later put together the Vinnie Vincent Invasion for a couple albums before fading into obscurity. I want to take
Okay,
these minutes
so
here to read you.
oh
I
my
want to
bad. Go
take
ahead.
these
I
minutes.
just want to shout out. I just want to shout out Full Metal Chad in the chat. He's a regular here. He says rock and roll, which that's
Had
a.
that, had that
And
record too.
I know I love Destroyer. I just a lot of songs, but guys, if you go back to Rock and Roll Over, there's a lot of good ones, a lot of deeper cuts that you don't hear, but like there's still the Kiss
Yep.
classics, you know, man.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Now, I want to take these minutes here to read you this long and sincere statement from Vinnie Vincent, who, as I mentioned, took over Ace's position as lead guitarist. It's a long one, but it's a lot more meaningful, a lot more deserving, a lot more respectable than the short paragraph that Gene and Paul issued that I read for everybody with my show with Prince Ido this past Friday night. It says here, yes, it starts with this. To Ace and to all, gone too soon, the loss of a loved one. I wanted to say the right words that could describe the loss of a loved one, but nothing I could muster would begin to comfort the millions of fans who idolized and worshiped and adored Ace Frehley, the man and the legend, and make their pain go away. Ace's passing brought me back many miles away to the beginning of my own journey. Strangely, replacing Ace in Kiss, a band whose music I knew little about, aside from a few radio singles, and had no fan interest in. Aside from the magnitude of their massive success, yet I wanted it more than life itself. My religion as a 12-year-old were the Beatles, same thing with me, which was 10 years earlier than the Kiss beginning of 1974. My addiction grew from the Beatles to Led Zeppelin to Jeff Beck to some jazz rock fusion from the 1970s, so I was a decade early in sharing the nostalgia of the Kiss fan base, who as adults will forever embrace Kiss through their own childhood memories. Yet, in the strangest twist of irony, I found myself replacing Ace as Kiss's lead guitarist in a quote unquote odd couple gone berserk sitcom, like setting, writing songs, rehearsing with the revamped Kiss at that time with Eric Carr on drums, and being served contracts to sign as Ace's official replacement. Wondering in disbelief, how in the hell in this world did this happen? Here I was stepping into the larger than life legend Ace Frehley's boots, literally, which was similar to learning to walk on stilts. Remember, they were wearing platforms. Once I got used to them, it became as normal as playing my guitar. Oddly, my one and only encounter with Ace was in 1982 at the video shoot for the song I Love It Loud. Who does not love that classic? For Shizzle. In utter disbelief, the band whose records I was unfamiliar with were recording a song Gene and I wrote. And here I was, the new kid watching the magical persona that is Ace on stage, rocking out to a song I co-wrote. Surreal? Way past that. I remember knocking on Ace's door to his dressing room to introduce myself and say hi. I was nervous meeting the larger-than-life legend himself. I was green, lost for words, and overwhelmed by Ace's presence and the magnitude of fame Ace had achieved in his amazing career. Yet, in my one and only fleeting encounter with him, I read a person who lost their heart. His only words to me were, quote, "Hey kid, good luck, you're gonna need it." It was more right than he could have ever imagined. We shook hands and wished each other luck and said goodbye. Those are the only words I ever shared with Ace from 1982 until we met again in 2022 for a memorable music performance weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. During those years, I never heard from Ace. We never crossed paths. Not unusual for me, as I am not a social person. Yeah, that's true. You hid away for how many decades after your time with the Vinnie Vincent invasion? But suddenly it all changed in 2022. Ace and I shared a belated moment of bonding that felt good, real good. No pretense. We liked each other. We came full circle from our beginning handshake in 1982 to meeting up at a very special Kiss Legacy show in Nashville. It was those two and along with Bruce Kulick all on the same stage together. It was a weekend I will forever, let me rephrase that. It was a weekend I will forever remember fondly, my shared with both Ace and Bruce Kulick and Peter Criss as band members coming together for the first time in support of our individual legacy as we gave tribute to the band we were historically intertwined. The greatest band in the world known as Kiss, the band whose sum was greater than its parts. Could words eulogize the legend of all, Ace Frehley? I think not. To me, a legend is all encompassing and all consuming, embracing the heart, soul, and mind of their individual audience. A legend is everlasting, emoting the same fan pride, well being, and warmth to the person they have touched through their artistry, through the passage of their time. Through light and dark, the effect of that artistry remains steadfast in the fans he touched. Even during Ace's more difficult moments, his legions of fans did not abandon him. They stood with him and cheered him on to let him know they had his back and to show Mr. Frehley he was loved no matter what. You can't buy that. Ace brought the gift of everlasting childhood to all the fans who loved him. Everyone felt that way about Ace, from rock stars, music gear companies, and fans alike. Everyone loved him. Ace was the everyman rock star. Ace's journey here is now complete. He has walked through the portal into eternity, a door we all walk through at some point. But what he leaves for all of us here are the images, the recordings, the performances, the happy memories of Ace, the person, the man, the musical works, and the magic character persona that was loved by everyone, young and old alike, and a stage presence that will live forever. I'm forever proud and grateful to have shared the same Kiss Forever legacy as Ace. We were one fucking hell of a great band. Cheers, my friend. You'll be sorely missed by everyone and by me. I'm hurt as I am hurting now. Love, light, and peace, Vinnie Vincent. What do you guys think of that? A lot more
He was
and also storytelling as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when there was a few days, and then he put that out. But Brown, take a break here and tell the audience about your weekend DJ sets. Like,
I'm not doing I'm not doing one this weekend, unfortunately. I haven't decided if I will or will not yet. Actually, I might think of doing something probably
Well, you put one up
tomorrow.
you put one up last week. So tell the people about what you do over there. Like, what kind of music is it?
Well, it's basically it's either dark industrial techno or just basic techno. You take take some sources, mesh them
Yes.
around a little bit, add some effects and other dialogue to it as well, like recordings from talk shows and shit, or from movies, like soundscape in the background there, blah blah blah. I conjure something different. I mean, like
Also, ladies and gentlemen, coming to Friday night, me and Dr. L. Brown, once again, talking a little bit about more music and drama. So if you want the exclusive update on me and this chick that Earl calls her, the crazy chick,
Yes.
tune in this Friday. We will be
Yes.
giving you more details on that story.
yeah, we gotta talk about definitely.
The
Prince
Dr.
forgot
Earl
the huge
W.
thing
Brown
about her.
channel. Yeah, the Dr. Earl W. Brown channel on YouTube, guys. Check that out. But for let me for a moment here. Back over to y'all guys. I mean, there's a lot here,
Earl,
guys.
if you
So,
don't mind, giving
but
just a sample of what we talked about with that girl
Yes.
from the messenger that gave you a
no,
messenger.
we are.
Just tell them how crazy things got.
We heard it. Well, no, we heard it last week.
Let's save
This is for Ace,
let's save it for Prince. Let's save it for Friday night, dude. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's save it all for Friday night.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, check that out on the Dr. Earl W. Brown channel. But let me take a moment. Like a couple years ago, this was in 2023. I did see Ace Frehley live. So I did see Kiss.
Remember, yes,
3 times, but obviously that was just only Gene and Paul. That this was right in the past 25 years. But I did see Kiss 3 times, Gene and Paul. But then finally, Peter Criss has been retired for years, but Ace Frehley has always, and with his solo stuff, his solo band, and playing Kiss stuff, Kiss songs he wrote, and all that. But he's done it for years. He's open. I mean, over the years, he's opened for, I think it was Rush, like Rush opened for Kiss a lot of time. Like that's what it was. Rush opened for Kiss. Was the band that opened for Kiss the most, basically, was Rush. So, they obviously, Kiss toured with. I mean, I saw him with Poison.
You also told Motley Crue.
It was Poison. They toured Motley Crue, when Ace did his solo stuff, this wasn't at like I think a couple years ago Ace opened for, it was him and Alice Cooper. So, but
yes,
when he did like his headlining stuff, Ace Frehley, it was these small clubs, these small venues that get packed.
Yes,
they do get packed, but when you walk in, it's teeny tiny, and you're like, what? But when it gets packed, it's like, whoa, there's like 1,000 people here. I don't know, 500 people. It's hard to tell, like, 100 people, if you're in a crowd of people, that seems like 1,000. So it's kind of hard to tell. But it was packed, small little club thing a couple years ago, and I ended up getting the VIP on the balcony.
yes.
So I got to like be, the balcony extended like kind of up above, had a cool view. I always like recording these weird, odd views. Sometimes I don't get to choose, I don't like to be in a big, huge crowd with being an asshole when I'm recording the videos, right? So I like to pick a spot away, and but so like that spot was like that. It was like away from everyone and blah blah blah, but right above the stage. And I experienced the smoking guitar bar, experienced the
Mm-hmm.
The lightning. He has a guitar that lights up as well. I mean, these are
Yes,
all
I
Les
remember
Pauls.
that.
I mean, he's
I remember
rocking.
seeing
This
that
dude
in the
probably
video.
owned hundreds of Les Pauls.
Oh
He's
yeah,
switching
I
out a
remember.
new Les Paul every other song almost.
Oh yeah, he's the Les Paul man without any doubt. In fact, I remember the light up guitar he displayed in the video for "I Was Made for Loving You." I remember seeing that a couple times.
Did you ever see Kiss at all, or Ace solo or anything, Brown?
No, the only person I saw related to Kiss was Paul Stanley. He did a short solo tour back in late 1988.
Really?
Yes, he did. He did a solo show. He just wanted to get out there, get some friends, and start performing music, Kiss songs, other songs as well, songs from his solo record. And he played 2 shows, Friday and Saturday, at the Ritz in Roseville, Michigan. Someone who I know worked there got me tickets for both shows. Ward was the opening act on both those shows. The second time I saw him, I brought one of my buddies over to check him out.
See, those are some of the
Back
best, like these, like I don't want to call them weird, but like these obscure, like this Dickinson tour, the solo Bruce Dickinson thing, like the KK's Priest thing, the George Lynch stuff. When he like these obscure, like small, like these like really great artists are really some of the best. To be honest, like. You know, the big stadium tours and the glitz and glamour and the fireworks and the fire, and, you know, everything that comes along with Kiss is cool. But like that Ace show, you know, these stripped down, small venue bar shows, I like to call them, because got the GA floor, got the stage, but they always got like a couple bar areas on the sides, which is, you know, it's pretty much like being in a bar. Club type thing, you know. These are some of the best, and he made a lot of money on signing guitars on the VIP backstage after, you know, years. But people worship this guy. I mean, I think he might be like top 3 or something, Brown, like of just worshipped guitar players. Like you could put up there maybe in the 1 spot. I mean, Ace might be at the number 2 spot, bro. I mean, he's a god. I get it. People love. I mean, obviously Tony Iommi, right? You know what I mean?
Yes. Hendrix, like, Richie Blackmore included.
You know, but like I'm talking like the greatest ever, just iconic wise, not necessarily, you know, ability wise. It wasn't about like tapping and fat ability with Ace. It was just,
you know, this is before Eddie Van Halen when he played. Yeah, this is way before the finger tapping. Way before Eddie came onto the scene with his band Van Halen. You know, Ace relied on chords, you know, leads, you know, like the smoke that came out of his Les Paul, I meant to say. You know, this was, you know, remember, Kiss were not that technical players, but they made up for that lack of technicality with all the theatrics that they came in with. And let's not forget, Garth Brooks, the country superstar, he stated in a couple of interviews that he was influenced by Kiss as well. In fact, there was one show where Paul Stanley came in to say hi to Garth Brooks, and Brooks approached Stanley, gave a long-ass hug, and said, "You guys were the biggest influence on my career." Even because you remember, there were a lot of theatrics, a lot of pyrotechnics that Garth Brooks did in his huge stadium shows. All that was thanks to Kiss, without any question. All right. Hello? Anybody there?
I'm here. What's going on?
Oh, right there. So it would just wait silent for a minute there.
Prince, it's all you, brother. Go ahead.
But like I said, but Paul Stanley, I used to read his books, and I used to hear about the band and how Ace Frehley had issues with them. It is really sad.
And they had issues with Ace as well. Yeah. By the way, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, me and Prince spoke about this briefly this past Friday. How are Gene and Paul handling this? Because many times in the past, they trashed talk Ace, especially Gene.
Yes.
They talk about how they didn't work with somebody who was an alcoholic. You know, Ace responded that he'd been sober for 12 years now. He called Gene a sex addict who even one time hit it up on Ace's wife at one point.
Well, Gene Simmons really was a sex addict, bro. He was.
Really?
I mean, look at his tongue, bro. Look at his tongue.
Yeah, exactly. And yet, you recall why a few years back, Ace threatened to reveal some deep, disturbing secrets about Kiss that was going to end their career for Shizzle if Paul Stanley did not apologize to Ace for the things that he said about him. And I remember the recording that you played me that
Yes.
of Eddie Trunk receiving Ace's response to that. He called Eddie Trunk and said,
Right.
"Hey," he called up and said, "Paul called me on the phone. He said, 'Fuck off. I'm not apologizing.'"
Kind of like the same behavior that Sebastian Bach had with Skid Row. Same behavior. How
But
he
here's the
called
thing.
how he called one of his bandmates, and that's how they kind of split up because some lead singers and some guitar players just can't get along.
And you know what it
It's a
ruined? And you know what it messes up? Like it. Just let's just say, like, I don't know, dude. Look, the alcohol stuff hurts me when they're trying to tour
Now,
and stuff, especially
I
when
have a
other
question
musicians.
for
Hello,
you guys. Go ahead.
hello.
wait till Wire's done.
You're in a band, right? One person's all drunk and everything, and the other people are sober. That is them on. So I could see Dean and Paul. This always right, the big sex guys,
Yeah.
like drug drink whenever their thing. It was never like So you could see where. What if Kiss was still doing their thing past 5 years when it was them two, right? But what could have been if you had an Ace in there? He was
Your
doing his
voice is
thing too.
cut
He
out.
was touring. He was touring. He was He was doing all this
Putting
stuff.
out records as well, his solo records, his last being 10,000 Volts at one point. He had that a record out.
I can't even talk.
Me? Who? I know your voice is cutting out a little bit there. Maybe the mic issues you're having, I think.
Yeah, here. Can you hear me now?
A lot better.
All right. So I was
There you
saying
are.
like I was saying in like the past 25 years, what if they would have kept Ace in? And I mean, obviously Peter Criss is the oldest member of the band, right?
Yes, I
So
believe so.
you can
Yes.
obviously you see like he was he couldn't do anymore, blah blah blah. But like whatever the issues were, but like if they would have brought in Ace these past 25 years, like even I don't know, dude. Like Ace was doing his own thing. He was touring. He was making new albums every couple years, whatever. Right? He was. He really was, man. But he didn't have like a manager. He had like a semi-assistant, like assistant, like that kind of did that Johnny O guy. I don't know if you heard of him, Dr. Brown, Johnny O.
Johnny O.
Johnny O.
Was he
Yeah,
one?
look, if you type in Johnny O, Ace Frehley, it's all he's been like Ace's assistant for years and like does all this stuff. Like they don't have like a management company that books for him and all. Like they do it all like in house. But like it may be that he would have been bigger. I mean, this is all through the years because Eddie Trunk, and if you want to pull it up, Brown, we can pull up. Starting with the solo album when Kiss put out all four, but like, can we bring up Ace Frehley's solo collection and
Well, I'm not too sure.
mention?
Well, besides from the one I just mentioned, the two. Well, there were two records he released recently: Space Invaders and
Well, no, like there's one
10,000
called Trouble
Volts.
Walking. I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
like the
remember that.
'80s ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
the familiar one was Frehley's Comet. That was the first album. That was the name of his original band name. And he had a couple other people with him. One of them, Anton Fig, who used to drum with David Letterman's late night house band.
Yes.
They became friends during the recording of that solo record he did back in '78. He also had Trouble Walking doing his version of ELO's Do Ya, which I wasn't really impressed by.
So like, wait, like let's go back to the time machine, Brad. Let me ask you this: when Ace put out though, and again, Eddie Trunk was the first to sign him. But what was this? 87, 88?
I believe it was.
86, maybe?
Well, it was 80. I think it may have been 86 or 87. I'm not sure one of those years. But at one point, he could have been signed to a label out of the UK called Bronze Records that had their roster included Uriah Heep, Motorhead, and a few others. But unfortunately, that label went down. So later on,
Well,
Ace
what
ended
was
up.
Kiss doing, Brown? What was Kiss doing during that? Like when Ace came out with a solo career, like with his first album, not the
They were
solo
with
album.
their.
When, like, what were they doing though? Hot and Shade
They were
tour or
doing
what?
their. They were doing their stuff. They had Hot Crazy Nights. They had Hot in the Shade. They had Asylum. They had Gene Paul, Bruce Kulick, and Eric Carr. That was the lineup that they had throughout that whole decade. Like that was what they were doing their own thing without the makeup as well. Having hit singles as well as hit albums.
This was like one of the last bands. If you when you think of bands, most of the time, unless you're like a hardcore fan of the individual band, like the general public, when you think of bands, like people always know the lead singer. People pretty much kind of always know the guitar player in a way, kind of. I mean, when Soundgarden was being played in the 90s, or when Nirvana was being played in the 90s, like it was Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain is all about Kurt Cobain. I mean, people know, drummer, the bass,
Yep.
whatever. But like it was all about Kurt, right? But like much like the Beatles, and I'm sure there's other
Yes.
bands. I'm sure there's other bands, but like much like the Beatles, Kiss was a band that fans of all walks of life, generations, pretty much heard of all four members. Like all four members was a thing of Kiss. It wasn't just one guy. Was it just? I mean, maybe in the last 25 years, it was all about Gene and Paul, right? But like, this is a huge loss. Not just of the talking the guitar aspect, just of a guitar player, but just as one of those last great American bands. Because I think, in my opinion, all the great music is British. All the great, from Priest, Maiden, Beatles, everything. It's all British. I think they make the best music, right? But like American bands, man, there's not a lot of those that are really, like popular or great or what. I mean, there's a lot, right? Especially newer stuff in the 90s stuff. And obviously the Seattle scene, there was a lot of good stuff, right? But like, your Kiss, your Aerosmith, your, Journey, this is a loss.
Boston.
This is, and they all four weren't touring together as of in the past 25 years, right? But just as one of those bands with all original members still alive, like Ace dying, this is this has been a wild 2025 has been like the worst year for like celebrity deaths. Hogan, Ozzy.
No. Go back to 2016. Everybody we knew left or right was passed away. Well, David Bowie, George Michael, Carrie Fisher, Lemmy Kilmister, Prince.
No,
The
that's true, but
artist.
this year's been wild. This year's been wild, right? Like Hogan and Ozzy. Come on, bro. Like the greats, the ultimate. Like this has been another wild. Like people you just don't expect to pass. Like Ace Frehley, who he said it himself. He's healthy. He's been sober for a long time, and look, he was on Eddie Trunk's show a lot. You know what I'm saying? He was on. He was on there a lot, and I listened to this dude. Damn, dude! Like so many people love this guy. Like so many people love the band Kiss. Like I think people really don't realize how important Kiss and like people like Ace are in history of music. Like Prince, what do you? Are they doing? Have you seen any? Being in Vegas, like, have you seen anything? Like, have they put like Ace's picture on the Sphere, or have you seen any like tributes and like the signs in Vegas or anything? Or Prince Idol?
Prince, you there, dude? Prince, you there, man? Hey, when he does this, man. Oh, jeez, dude.
Come on, Prince. All right, Brown. Let's see here. What? So, like, you have a list of all of his solo albums? Have you looked that
Not,
up for us?
not all of them. Let me give me a couple minutes here.
I'd like to run through his discography because look, he was putting out more than. Look, Kiss wasn't. Look, Kiss wasn't doing any. I mean, maybe Psycho Circus was like maybe their. I don't know. People don't. I don't know, bro. Like, Kiss wasn't doing anything like
Mostly
album
touring.
wise. Touring, but like album wise, they really didn't do. I mean, if you really think about it, remember that Sonic Boom album? When did that song like Great Big Bertha or what? Remember you?
Modern Day Delilah.
Yeah,
I've been hearing that. I believe that was
their
with Tommy Thayer.
Yeah, it's like a semi-hit, right?
Mm-hmm. Right there. Now, altogether, Ace released 7 other solo albums. But apart from the ones I mentioned, he also had, of course, Ace Frehley, the self-title from 1978. As far as the 4 individual solo records that they did that year, he had Space Invader, that was in 2014. Loaded Deck from 1998, Trouble Walking from 1989, Second Sighting from 1988. The first one, Frehley's Comet, was a year before, 87. And what's this? Let me see if I can pronounce this one. And normally from 2009. And I believe that was about it. That was about it. He had just releasing about 7 solo records, unless there are some out there that I'm not aware of. I'm going to Wikipedia right now as this, and here it goes. With Kiss, he did about 11 live albums. It was actually 5 live 2, Kiss Unplugged, You Want the Best, You Got the Best, Alive, the Millennium Concert from 2006. Solo and Frehley's Comet as wow. There's a couple more here. Let me run them all in order.
Yeah, there's a lot, guys.
Yeah. Solo albums: Ace Frehley, Frehley's Comet, Second Sighting, Trouble Walking, Anomaly, Space Invader, Origins Volume 1, Spaceman, Origins Volume 2, and the last one being 10,000 Volts. That was in 2024.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Compilation albums, he had 2 12 picks and Loaded Deck, as well as Live Plus One, Greatest Hits Live. Those were the 2 records he had as a solo album, as a solo artist. And that was pretty much like a collection, just 10 solo albums, 11 with Kiss. Right there. So that's the list of his solo recordings.
Brown, how'd you find out about the Ace's death? Like,
you did. You DM'd me on the X.
We are your number one source here for all the updates for real, folks.
Yeah, you DM'd me the TMZ report that he was first on life support after suffering this brain bleed, what's it called, the brain bleed after those 2 falls that he took.
Imagine,
and
basically,
then I looked it up.
What happened was he fell down the stairs of his home and hit his head. Imagine, I mean, anyone can die from this.
Well,
these accidental deaths.
How powerful was that hit he took on his noggin?
Enough to knock him unconscious to the point where I guess he's in a vegetative state and on life support at that, Brown. Like, imagine.
I saw when I saw that. I was like, huh? Really? What? How did this happen?
Falling down stairs is different from just falling on the floor, right? I mean, you could hit your head on something like falling on the floor, but like the stairs, We talking body parts. We're talking, maybe
Broken
multiple
bones,
I mean, none
probably
of
a
that's
broken
come out.
neck.
He was, and the thing is, people knew, like, Eddie Trunk had to keep this a secret for like 3 weeks. Like, he knew, like,
Wow.
basically, like, Ace, when that happened, he's been a vegetable, I guess, for a week or two. Like, he's been on life support for that long. And, like, Eddie, that's the worst. Like, because Eddie Trunk, I mean, he was breaking down on air, crying, everything this past week.
Wow.
Like, seriously. So, I mean, this was very sad, and like just another huge mega loss in the world of pop culture and music and everything. Like, these next 10 years, we're going to see the great ones fall. 10, 15 years, like, everyone's 70 now, and whether age issues or, I mean, look at Gene Simmons getting in the car crash, for Christ's sakes.
I know.
Okay, like, more's gonna come out, obviously, after the funeral. I mean, there's no, like, pictures or nothing like that out, but, like, Gene and Paul were confirmed traveling there to that funeral.
Mm-hmm.
It was today. Yeah, it was like the viewing was yesterday, and today was the funeral or something. Like, it was yesterday and today because Eddie Trunks was off air yesterday and today, right? So he's gonna come back tomorrow. I think tomorrow's the interview with Slash. To talk about Ace and everything. It's probably why Slash picked up the Les Paul, because of Ace. But I wonder why. And it's just a sidebar, Brown. I wonder why Dimebag always used that Dean. I wonder why he never used, like, the Les Paul, just like Ace.
Who? Paul Stanley?
Dimebag.
I know, for sure. A lot of people have a preferred guitar, their choice,
Yeah.
whether it's a Strat or it was Dean or it's a Washburn or Gretsch. I know Billy Duffy of the Cult prefers a lot of old vintage guitars like the Gretsch White Falcon. That's an iconic guitar itself. But I know KK Downing, he loves playing line V's.
What would you rather have, a Fender Stratocaster? I don't know. At this point, I think it's 50-50. Like, I see as much people playing Stratocasters or Strat copies versus, Gibson Les Pauls. But I see it's 50-50 with me. I see a lot of people throughout the years on TV now, whatever, using Les Pauls still too. I feel like they're the more pricier guitar, because you can get like me, I got the Made in Mexico Fender Strat. You can get those for like under 600. Used, you can get them for like 350. Yeah, Made in Mexico. They're just as, solid. They're solid and heavy, but the Les Paul, where there's pictures of Ace using a Flying V. I know there's a video of him during the reunion tour in the 90s of him using a double neck SG. They were doing rehearsals, like an old rehearsal video. It's really cool. There's tons of stuff on YouTube, but I think there was a point maybe he was using a Flying V. I know Stanley did, right? But like maybe there was another Gibson branded guitar, not Les Paul, that I forget. It kind of looks like Les Paul, but it's more like short and fatter. I forget what model it's called. But I think, they use it. Did you remember? Why do Brown? This question why do people say Kiss Alive 2 is better than Kiss Alive 1? Do you hear that ever?
Not usually. I often hear how many times Alive 1 was more groundbreaking. It was a lot more influential. I mean, it's a band that really got Kiss going in terms of success. A lot of people picked up on that album. They realized, hey, this is a great band that we're got to check out sometime soon. They're excited to come into town. And let's not forget, it was recorded back in my hometown of Detroit. 1975 or 74. Yes, Cobo Hall. That's where it was recorded. And you can see on the back cover.
Did Kiss ever play Pine Knob?
I'm not too sure if I don't recall, but either way, Detroit has always had a special place for Kiss, Detroit's always had a special place in Kiss's history. Remember when they announced the comeback, the reunion tour with Peter, Ace, Gene, and Paul? One of the first places they played was Tiger Stadium, also in Detroit. Tickets sold out immediately right after it was announced. Sold out within seconds, minutes, you name it.
Yeah, just a quick mention. I put up a video. We'll talk about it more next week. But Ticketmaster came out and they did it to me, but they're doing it to like everyone else. Is that Tickets Help account on X on Twitter called Tickets Up, and there's other ones that like put out screenshots and everything of tickets going down, and they like expose Ticketmaster and everything. But like,
Wow.
there's this thing where Ticketmaster, you know, Trump and all them, and the FTC or whatever made these new rules and stuff like to prevent bots. But what Ticketmaster is doing now, they're rolling it out. It happened to me for sure, and it's happened to a lot of other people, and it's gonna happen to everyone with a Ticketmaster account. But they ask for your identification through a third party, so you have to send in a picture of your driver's license, ID, passport, whatever, and 3 to
Really?
5 days just to, just so they can account
Certify it's
for
you?
that it's a real person, that it's a real account and not a bot, because these bots all over the country buy these tickets up quickly and resell them obviously for the prices. I mean, the new trick is
Scalpers.
wait till the scalp. The new trick is you wait till the day of and all those prices drop to a lower price or the original face value. But yeah, they're doing that to me. But they lock your account, so I have these $800 rush tickets sitting in there, and they say if you don't pass, which you know, everyone should pass if they don't. You know, obviously, if you don't read the email, you get 30 days to do this. And if you don't respond in 30 days, they terminate your account. Okay,
Wow.
this is supposed, like, they're kind of plain face, like seem like Ticketmaster's doing the right thing by doing this. Like, I have no problem with, like, you know, the ID thing. Like, a lot of people are really mad about that. Like, I have to use my ID to buy tickets now. Like, but you got to use your ID to buy the drink at the damn arena anyway. And you know,
Do you remember years back when the censorship issue was going around in the later half of the 80s? Many kids complained they had to show their ID to pick up either a Two Live Crew or Slayer album.
that is a damn good point.
Yeah,
That's a good point, because
exactly.
I'm going to talk to Eddie Truck about this, because this is developing. Like, Ticketmaster is just, and like, it's 50-50. It's like, it's cool in a way that, but like, the bots are still going to do their thing, and I don't know how this can, like, bro, all of those rush tickets were sold out in minutes. In minutes, there's tens of thousands of people. See, when tickets go on sale, and it depends on who. Not everyone gets to draw like that, but like, say if it was a Led Zeppelin reunion, like these big, huge, weird things that come out, tours. Um, when you're waiting in line, when you go in Ticketmaster, you sign in. You know, 5 minutes away, tickets go on sale. Okay, so you wait in line, and it tells you what you're in. 53,000, blah blah blah, 73. I mean, it's tens of thousands of people waiting in this queue. They call it this line. And then when the time starts for buying tickets, you just see the seats getting bought up quickly. I mean, like this Rush thing, completely sold out. They announced 14 new cities or whatever, and they knew that. They knew that. They knew they're going to roll out. They roll it out slowly, but they knew they're going to do this big tour thing. I mean, yeah, like the popularity and the tickets out, but like, they didn't get like trolled. They kind of got maybe trolled by the scalpers buying them up anyways.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
the whole tour sold out, pre-sale sold out. General on sale went live last Friday. That got sold out. All 4 shows and everywhere, right?
Yep.
But by these bots buying the tickets, does that show that the band know that it's bots buying most of these tickets? Or like, it's definitely not fans buying. I mean, the fans are trying to. It's a mix, but like, it's a thing. These bots, which is someone or a company or Seeker or whatever, has multiple accounts ready to go. Buy these tickets and scalp them and resell them double the price, triple the price. I mean, the tickets for my rush seats are going for thousands on the
Wow.
aftermarkets right now.
Wow,
Thousands.
dude.
So
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. Like, in a way, showing the ID thing to buy tickets, it sucks at first because it's a process. I'm going through that process, and we'll see when that process is over. Hopefully, they'll approve and won't. I mean, if they start screwing people out of people with tickets already, and I'm trying to buy, like, Maiden's fixing to announce probably during they always announce like Halloween, like around the end of this month. So like Maiden's fixing to announce, like I'm trying to grab those tickets. Like there's other stuff I'm trying to go to. Like I'm a paying customer. I'm trying to buy, spend money with Ticketmaster. I've never resold. I'm not a reseller. I don't like their AI way of doing this is so screwed up. They're flagging regular fans, not these, but they're probably flagging bots too. Like bots don't have IDs to driver's license to send in to third parties.
Brown,
So
Yes.
what's your reaction to what's going on in the world right now with the whole, government shutdown, and it's really,
bro, this is Ace Frehley. This is the Ace Frehley music show.
Why are you asking that question, Prince?
Delete that
because
question
I'm
from the Dr. Brown
heartbroken,
channel.
bro. I'm heartbroken for people right
I'm
now.
I'm not heartbroken. I feel bad for the government officials who have to work there. But then again, instead of go after those, but go
Boo,
after
no one wants to
those who
listen to
cause that.
politics on a music show. Boo.
I'm done. I'm done with politics. Yo, come on.
Prince. All right, back to Ace Frehley. I just had to do a
Yes, go back
sidebar
to
on
Ace.
that. We'll be discussing more of that next week because that's huge in the music industry right now. The
And
Ticketmaster thing.
And Wire, by the way, since you mentioned the Seattle sound that we're going to be talking about next week, you guys should probably check out Nirvana's cover version of the Kiss song "Do You Love Me," the closing track from
Really? Love that
Destroyer.
song.
Yeah, I remember hearing that a couple years ago on the Canadian late night
That's definitely a
radio
deeper.
station.
That's
Yes.
definitely a deeper cut, huh? Would you consider?
Yeah. In fact, here's something else. Kiss had played a pub that was a big influence on many alternative bands. In fact, you recall back in '96 when Kiss came out in full makeup, the original Kiss, when they were introduced by Tupac Shakur. Many fans stood up and they were cheering. In fact, Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, he was the first to stand up and clap and applaud. Yay! The Kiss we knew and loved as kids are back. Yay! The superheroes are back. Hey.
Brown, give us your memories on what didn't Kiss come out with like a movie? Was like that movie in the movie theaters or like
No, it was on TV and it was called
Phantom in the
Kiss
Park?
Meets,
What was it?
yes, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, and you gotta be full-blown drunk to watch it because the acting is terrible, the dialogue is terrible. It's like it's family entertainment if you're a mongoloid. Even members of Kiss themselves said, "Oh gosh, I can't believe we did that shitty ass movie." Exactly.
I've never seen the movie. I saw clips of the movie, but was it a movie that went in the movie theaters back in when it came out?
You know,
or
it
no?
was made for TV. It aired on NBC television. I believe it was on a Sunday night. And like I said, Kiss's acting on it was absolutely horrendous. Ugh. Like I said, be full-blown drunk or high on something when you watch it. Because seeing it when you're
you don't even
straight
get down
sober,
like that, man. You don't get down like
We
that.
know that
Prince-
Prince has the Kiss shirt, but Brown, do you have any Kiss merchandise?
the only thing I had so far was the Kiss
The Kings.
Resurrected album. What?
At least you got something. They're the kings of merchandise, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Kiss coffin, the Kiss makeup jobs, the Kiss makeups setup and stuff. They had that since the '70s. The action figures, the clothing, the boots, you name it. The merchandise was all over the place.
You think Ace was buried in a Kiss casket?
I'm not too sure, but you know what? I would not be surprised if he was
What type of
because
question is that?
I'm serious. You
But
think
then
Gene and
again,
Paul? You think Gene? I'm serious. You think Gene and Paul, put the money up for the funeral costs, perhaps, and the cast? Because it's been known that Ace lost all of his Kiss money over the years, millions.
yeah,
Ace,
that's true.
that's
There,
why he does this thing where he signs guitars and all these
or a
VIP
price.
aftermer. I mean, even look, I'm not. I'm just giving you a real life experience. Even at his show when I went a couple years ago, his merch, you know what? I didn't buy any merch. Number one, I buy the merch with the dates on the back and stuff. He didn't
Hey,
have that, but
Brown.
his merch was a little bit, pricier.
I know,
$55
I understand, but
t-shirts.
then again, that's how
Yes.
merchandise says nowadays. Remember the Iron Maiden shirt that I got from 2019 when they played Cynthia Rhodes Pavilion? It was about $45, so that's relatable. Remember, they're
So
charging a
my
lot
so my
more.
my point is that lost all his Kiss money, blah blah blah, over the years, and that Gene and Paul maybe did fit the bill for the funeral, and Prince. What makes you think they didn't do the Kiss casket? I'm serious.
In that case, they probably did.
You get what
No.
I'm saying? Though I had to explain it in a way for y'all to get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
you
Right.
gotta
get what I'm
remember.
thinking or
You gotta
whatever.
remember. Let's not forget, Ace and Peter had to sell the rights to their makeup designs to Gene and Paul because people at that time wanted the characters Kiss, the Catman, Spaceman, Demon, Star
Who's
Child.
Gene?
Gene Simmons.
I don't know him as Gene. I know him as Demon.
The Demon.
See what I did there?
The
See what I did
Demon,
there?
the bass player,
Did y'all
the one
hear
that
that?
spit blood. You know that.
I know that. I
Brown,
said I
did
don't
y'all
call
hear
him.
that?
I don't call him Gene. I call him Demon.
Well,
Did you hear that? Vince Russo and that wrestler who played the Demon in WCW. They did a
yeah,
show
Dale
last week.
Torborg. Yes, I did
Yeah,
listen to it while I was at work.
that was good, right?
It was good. In fact,
No.
let's not forget, Russo brought in Kiss to perform on the WCW Monday Nitro that's when the Demon made his debut.
Yes, he did.
Was that
Is it
that
possible,
was
YR and Brown?
that the original Kiss on there, or was that the replacement?
Yes, it was. Yes, absolutely, it was.
Remember
Kiss
that?
was on there supposed a farewell tour at that time, and then
Yes, they did.
that's when that tour. Yes, and when Gene and Paul decided we're not done, we're going to continue as Kiss, but not with Ace and Peter because of the attitudes that they were showing on tour. That's when Tommy Thayer came in, and that's when
How
Eric
can I get
Singer came in as well.
autographs from them, YR? Because I do have some Kiss merchandise in storage that I want signed, and I know the group is not together not well. I know I can't get Ace Frehley's autograph, but I would like to get at least Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons. Now I don't know how am I supposed to get an autograph when they're not really playing. What I have to do? Go find Gene Simmons and ask him to sign it. Go find Paul and ask him to sign it. You know.
Well, bring it
But
back.
even then,
Bring your wallet.
guys, it wouldn't be the same to me because I want Ace Frehley's autograph, I want Paul's autograph, I want Gene's autograph, and I want the Catman. What's his name? The
Peter
Cat.
Chris.
Yeah, I want Peter. I want the original cast.
The only thing we can get from Kiss live now is tribute bands, which those are some of the best tribute
And I
bands
don't
for the
want
Kiss
that.
ones.
I don't want
all
that
around
tribute
the
band
country.
autograph. I mean, who gets a tribute band
No, not
autograph?
autograph, just experience of Kiss. Like I said, Ace was the last one doing tours and stuff. Kiss did their farewell thing, and they really left. They were really not Kiss. I think that was their last for real.
It
Obviously
was, yeah.
they're
Now
trying
we
to make
got
money
these
doing
avatars.
doing the Avatar thing, but Truck Kiss is still trying to make money doing the the Kiss
Hold on a
cruises they
second
have,
there.
and then they had the Kiss cruises, and then they had this Vegas Expo Kiss thing, and Kiss is obviously going to live forever as a band, as a thing, and this stuff happens. Like the Beatles, everyone's favorite band, I guess the greatest band ever. When they lost John Lennon, when George Harrison died, I mean, this does happen. People
All
like
right.
it's just really rough that.
Guys, I showed this to Prince, and I'm going to show it to you, Wire. This is a vinyl copy of Destroyer Resurrected. It's a
that's
remix
bad.
version of the
Wait, put
album.
that back to the
And
screen.
What's the back
What?
of it look like?
I can't see it. Let
Here-
it focus. Let it focus. For
Oh
me.
wow,
Oh, that is
Yeah,
see
sick.
it, Prince?
It is.
That
Yes.
is
This is
sick.
right. This is a kind of different cover than the
I'm
Destroyer
drooling.
album cover that we know as well. And
I'm
of
drooling.
course, I found this and check this out. It comes with details on the mixing, the remixing of this version, as well as check this out. I like this orange vinyl, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
that's sick. That is
What?
sick.
Orange
Have you ever
vinyl,
played
yes.
it? Have you played it? It sounds good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
Oh my
does sound
God,
damn
that's
good, like
beautiful.
a CD. It's like a CD.
I love it. I love it.
And I know you're more of a CD guy, YR, but like
Yes.
give these labels a lot of credit, like Universal or EMI. They have put a lot of effort to making these vinyl releases sound like CDs, sound
Yes,
quality
they
and
have.
everything
Yes, they
else.
have.
They have, yes.
No, it's all it is, but
Remastered.
it's all a monetary. Like, how many times can we reissue this music 1,000 times over, which happens all the time.
Yeah.
Look, I'm telling you, cassette tapes are coming back. Like
Yes, they are.
like Metallica put out the M72 on cassette as well. They made that available. Like other stuff, other groups, like cassette tapes are coming back. Dr. Brown, believe it or not.
Good.
And I always loved and appreciated the cassette.
So did I.
You know what I'm saying? Like cassettes and CDs is the best form to listen to music. Obviously, going on YouTube and listening through your headphones, that's the more like easiest and convenient. But
Mhm.
CD, the physical copy, the price points, everything. Obviously, Ace's latest album that came out, there's a few music videos I've seen on that, but really good music videos on that one. Dr. Brown, have you ever played, obviously the one I had or whatever, Les Paul, but like, what do you think about the Les Paul and Ace Frehley? Like, why did he pick that guitar, you think? I'm sure Kiss had a Gibson sponsorship, so it wasn't like they had to go out and buy them.
Yes, they did. In fact, the back of their album covers, they said right up front, Kiss play Gibson guitars and Pearl drums because they want the best. They did that on almost all those early albums they put out, like Rock and Roll Over,
That
Love
is
Gun.
that is the best, right? A Gibson Les Paul and a Marshall stack.
Yep, exactly.
So is that
And
what you would like? Is that what you want for Christmas, Brown? Do you want a Les Paul and a
would
Marshall
be
stack?
nice. You know what? I would love to have me with that one white Les Paul that Tommy Thayer has
A
with the
white
black
one?
pickguard. Yes, exactly. Randy Rhoads had one as well. A white Les Paul.
Paul has that black beauty. Paul has the black on black.
Nice.
Wendy Melvoin has that too, from the Revolution of Prince. She has that white Les Paul as well.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
It is a beautiful
Yeah,
guitar.
a lot. When I went to that guitar festival, like all the old vintage Les Pauls, like they have this yellow hue to them. Like, like I don't know if that was part of the times or just it's like aged, but like you could tell when the like that thing is solid. It's a solid instrument. It's number one.
Well, if I get one, you can beat me up, okay?
Did you ever dress up as Kiss for Halloween as a kid?
No, I never did. I never did, actually. We didn't have my mom at the time was anti-Kiss. She was one of those mothers
We did not. We could not afford face paint, so I had to use toothpaste and charcoal.
something like that. Something like that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, when you think she was one of those mothers who didn't like heavy metal, didn't care for rock and roll. They're all even. They're this. She had it set in her head that Black Sabbath were demon worshippers. That Marilyn Manson caused that shooting in Littleton, Colorado. She believed the hype to the full tilt, as they put it. Whatever was told to her, she believed it automatically. Even if you told her the moon was made of green cheese and blue toothpaste, she'd buy it. That's how ignorant she was. Oh man. Hello? You there,
He
guys?
must be going in and out. He's still here. He's going in and out. That's what it is.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, but like I was saying, if I get my hands on a white Les Paul, Earl, you have permission to pick me in the master lock and say, "What did I
Yeah,
tell you?"
but yeah, I don't do that. Just send me the link of where you bought that guitar from, and I'll get it myself there.
It is a beautiful guitar. It really is.
It looks nice.
It's a beauty.
I've been thinking about doing this. There are times that I wish I would like to pick up a Les Paul by the company of the. You have a Licks guitar. I have a Licks guitar myself. I should probably go online to see if they have any Les Paul copies that they have to order online sometime soon.
Yeah.
Hell, I've been looking at
There's so many guitars.
guitars.
I want that I can't get my hands on, but eventually I'll get my hands on it one day.
Right there. I know. You and me both, kid.
All right, Brown. Any last words? Any last words on Ace Frehley? Anything?
Well, I can only say this. Thank you, Ace, for the huge amounts of rock and roll, the guitar chords, the influence you had on every rock and roller out there, as well as your performance, the smoky guitar, and everything you have done for not only Kiss fan base, but also outside of it as well. And all I can say now is, Ace, you are now within the stars.
Yes.
Fly high, dude. Fly high, my man.
I will say this because, Ace, I want to thank you for giving me, and I'm only 29 years old, and I discovered you at the age of 19, just going to my public library back when I was living in Atlanta. Ace Frehley, I thank you for being free. I thank you for being cool. I thank you for inspiring me to be a better guitar player.
You read like books on Ace in the library?
Yes, I did. I read books about Kiss.
Wow.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I want to thank Ace Frehley for everything, for inspiring me. Not just Ace. I want to thank Gene. I want to thank Paul. And I want to thank this just the original band because they really inspired me.
Peter as well.
And Peter, yes, and Peter. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Ace. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Gene, for inspiring me. And Ace Frehley, while you're up there, please give my parents a big hug and tell them your son, he's all right.
And also, thank you to Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter, as well as Mark St. John, Eric Carr, Bruce Kolick as well, for playing a part of everybody's life, music-wise, in and out. All right,
gentlemen. Brown, if you want to plug your channel and plug you said you're 50-50 on doing the DJ set, but
I'll probably work.
People might want to go there and check them out. Your last week's DJ set.
Yes, it was yes, definitely check it out. It's on my channel right now in the video slot. Go in there, to crank it up all the way. Like I said, I'll probably conjure something up tomorrow night to premiere this coming Saturday evening while I'm at work. But of course, I invite everybody to check them out. And I also conjured up a new dark soundscape set in which I'm planning on streaming live, possibly Sunday night when I get home from my work. This will be at 11 p.m. Eastern. Either way, look for these two items right there. Definitely check them out. And
also,
subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, notification bell.
Also, adding to what Brown said, you can find Prince Idol right here on Music Maniacs with yours truly, YR, and Dr. L. Brown. You can also find Prince Idol with yours truly, Dr. L. Brown, and yours truly, Prince Idol.
This Friday night, 11 p.m., 11 p.m. Eastern time. Me and Prince will be live once again, shooting the breeze, shooting the shit of what's going on within this community and outside of it as well. And I got to hear more details on this crazy ass drug bitch. That's for sure. There.
Yes, sir. And we got to hook up, man. We got to link up. We got to do something. Me and you solo, just like how me and Brown are doing something. Look forward to me and YR getting back together, guys.
Yes, and YR, you're welcome to join in this Friday night just as well. Then. Thank you, everybody.
Everyone, for coming out. Thank you, Brown. Ace Frehley. The music will live on forever. Another GOAT. Another icon lost this year.
Another icon gone, man. What is happening with the icons, YR? What is
They're
happening?
going to be back in the New York groove, Brown.
Yeah. Yep.
Pleasure for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Brown, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Ace. Ace Frehley, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Ace Frehley. And thank you for everything
Rest
you've
in
done.
peace, Ace. Yes to you, man.